Chicago is among the largest cities in the U.S. Famed for its bold architecture and rich history, four friends reached Chicago for business. One friend, named Sarah Donovan, is graduate of finance. Sam Harper had been a cab driver in the bustling city of Chicago for nearly a decade. He knew the city like the back of his hand, from the gleaming skyscrapers of downtown to the quiet, shadowy streets of the suburbs. His life was simple, with the constant hum of the city and the endless stream of passengers providing a steady, if unremarkable, rhythm. One cold, rainy night, Sam was parked near the downtown district, waiting for his next fare. The streets were almost deserted, and the glow from the streetlights reflected off the wet pavement. Just as he was about to call it a night, a woman appeared out of the shadows, waving frantically. She was strikingly beautiful, with long, dark hair and piercing blue eyes. Dressed in an elegant black coat, she seemed out of place on the deserted street. As she climbed into the back seat, Sam noticed her shivering. "Where to, ma'am?" he asked. 54th and Lexington, please," she replied, her voice soft and slightly trembling. "And hurry, I'm running late." Sam nodded, turning the meter on and pulling away from the curb. He glanced at her through the rearview mirror, noting her anxious expression. Something about her seemed off, but he brushed the thought aside. It wasn't his place to pry. As they drove through the rain-slicked streets, the woman began to talk. Her name was Laura, and she worked in finance, she said. She had just left an important meeting and needed to get home quickly. She spoke rapidly, almost nervously, about her job, her stressful life, and her desire for a change. Sam listened, occasionally glancing at her in the mirror. There was something captivating about her, yet he couldn't shake the feeling that she wasn't telling him everything. He responded politely, sharing a bit about his own life as a cab driver, the long hours, and the interesting people he met. Suddenly, Laura's phone rang. She answered it, speaking in hushed tones. From what Sam could hear, the conversation was tense. She hung up abruptly, her face pale. "Is everything okay?" Sam asked, concerned. "Just some work issues," she replied, forcing a smile. "It's nothing." As they neared 54th and Lexington, Laura leaned forward. "Can you make a quick stop at 38th and Oak? I need to pick something up," she asked, her voice almost pleading. Sam hesitated. The detour would take them into a less savory part of town, but he agreed. As they drove deeper into the city, the buildings grew taller and more decrepit, the streets darker and more foreboding. They arrived at a rundown apartment building. Laura asked him to wait and disappeared inside, leaving her purse on the back seat. Minutes turned into half an hour, and Sam grew increasingly uneasy. Just as he was about to go look for her, she reappeared, her face flushed and her eyes darting nervously. "Let's go," she said urgently, climbing back into the cab. Sam drove away quickly. His unease grew. Laura's nervousness was palpable, and he could sense trouble brewing. As they sped through the dark streets, a black SUV suddenly appeared behind them, tailing them closely. "Step on it," Laura screamed, voice panicked. Sam's heart raced as he accelerated, weaving through the traffic. The SUV stayed close, its headlights blinding in the mirrors. Laura fumbled with her purse, pulling out a wad of cash. "Here, take this," she said, thrusting the money towards Sam. "Just get me out of here." Sam took the money but didn't slow down. The chase continued, the SUV relentless in its pursuit. Finally, Sam spotted a police car ahead and swerved towards it, hoping to find safety. The SUV suddenly peeled off, disappearing into the night. Breathing heavily, Sam pulled over near the police car. Laura was shaking, tears streaming down her face. "Thank you," she whispered. "I don't know what I would have done without you." Before Sam could respond, she jumped out of the cab and ran down an alley, disappearing into the darkness. He was left alone, clutching the money she had given him. It was only then that he noticed the purse still lying on the back seat. Curiosity getting the better of him, Sam opened the purse. Inside, he found several fake IDs, a burner phone, and a small, leather-bound notebook. As he flipped through the pages, he discovered detailed notes about various high-profile financial scams and a list of names, including Laura's real name, Sarah Donovan. Realization hit him like a ton of bricks. Sarah was a con artist, and he had unwittingly become part of her escape plan. The money she had given him was likely stolen, and the people in the SUV were probably her disgruntled victims, or worse, her accomplices. Sam knew he had to make a choice. Keeping the money would make him an accessory. Turning it in could mean trouble for him. After a sleepless night, he decided to go to the police. He handed over the purse, the notebook, and the money, explaining everything that had happened. Police thanked him for his honesty and assured him they would investigate. Days turned into weeks, and Sam couldn't shake the memory of that night. He continued driving his cab, but with a newfound wariness of the passengers he picked up. Months later, Sam received a letter from the police. Thanks to his information, they had apprehended Sarah Donovan and her accomplices. The stolen money had been returned to its rightful owners, and Sam was awarded a small portion as a reward for his bravery and honesty. Sam realized that in the end, it wasn't the money that mattered, but doing the right thing. He had been caught in a web of deception, but his integrity had seen him through. From that day on, he carried with him the lesson that sometimes the greatest reward is a clear conscience and the knowledge that you've done what's right.